All right, welcome back to our next episode of Designing the Best You. Remember again to check in the show notes to sign up for a weekly newsletter, connect with the community, all the things, the jazzes, all the things. Check it out. Okay, so let's dive in. We know holding a job, building a career, all the things at home and in the workplace is more complicated and competitive than ever. I'm going to say it over and over. It's not just for those with chronic conditions, autoimmune diseases, all these mysterious symptoms. It is true for healthy people too, okay? My work is dedicated these days to giving others the tools to manage their work, create more balance, meet challenges with resilience, and to look to the future with hope. Why? Because I've been there. I've been there for so long, and guess what? Not anymore, okay? Not anymore. And today, I want to tackle the fourth pillar of my program, stressors. Okay, so here's the thing. You're like, my roof ain't leaking, my thyroid's fine, you've never been chased by a tiger, Vanessa, why am I so exhausted, cranky, foggy? Well, welcome to invisible stress, or like I like to call it, hidden stress, okay? We're all familiar with the visible stress, things like a kid waking up in the middle of the night, throwing up on you, screaming, whatever it is, doing a presentation in front of people who are paid to criticize your work. Yeah, that's always fun, right? But the hidden stressors that quietly do the dirty work beneath the level of your awareness, yeah, those are typically in your body, okay? And then you've got enough of those silent stressors that add up, and you feel like you've just crawled out of the lion den at the zoo. And then even worse, you're like, why am I feeling so crummy? What is wrong with me? Nothing dramatic happens. Okay, maybe you're the drama queen, but you get it, right? So in this episode, I'm going to expose what can cause hidden stressors that can wear away at your health and well-being. And even better, I'm going to show you how to recover so you can return to your career, okay? That's what we want, right? And life with more energy, with wisdom and resilience, okay? Now, we all know it's no secret that a high-pressure job or running a business or just being a parent of multiple kids can cause so much anxiety, tension. And then what happens, okay? It manifests into a myriad of physical symptoms, right? There's so many studies out there that show that our brain and our body have so much trouble distinguishing between the kind of stress that's caused by real danger, like, my house is on fire, right? And perceived danger, like a boss has too many demands, okay? Our body doesn't know the difference. Our brain doesn't know the difference, okay? So in response, what happens is our bodies release hormones and chemicals to speed up our heart rate, increase blood pressure, stimulate our muscles, which we need, right? We become more alert and responsive, and that is absolutely appropriate, and we're specifically designed that way when we're in harm's way, right? That tiger, that bear, oh my, right? But our bodies cannot sustain that level of readiness for long periods of time. What happens after a while? They break down, right? Just like a car. If you're racing down the track, think about this. You're racing down the track. You're going 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. You do that for all the laps of your race. What's going to happen? And you're going to keep going and you keep going and you keep going, even past when they wave the flag. It's going to break down, okay? So the same thing happens with our bodies. And I know most of you are not going to admit that until you're completely broken down, okay? And any of this can result in things such as chronic headaches, migraines, nausea, insomnia, or more serious things like heart attacks, hypertension, stroke. So if you're finding yourself in the kind of job that is resulting in a hit to your health, we gotta take some steps back, okay? We have to now take intentional steps, right? Create a plan to better our body and mind. And I say intentional and I mean it. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take effort. It's probably gonna take extra money and a plan, okay? All of you are like, wanna do this for free and with no time and no energy. It ain't gonna happen, okay? So what I want you to do is identify the source. And you're like, Vanessa, I'm trying. Okay, well, I got some different ideas, okay? So if you've been suffering from a steady stream of that stress-induced sickness, it's going to be difficult to pinpoint the source, right? I know I talk about us going down to the root cause, but it's going to take peeling back the layers, okay? Maybe recently you've been tossing and turning in the night, or maybe you've been fighting off those regular migraines, and you're like, why? You can't figure it out. You've done all the research. You're asking people all the things, okay? Jen, she's a client of mine. She actually works in academia, okay? She used to experience nausea and frequent vomiting on her commute. First of all, she's like, I have vertigo. I'm like, I don't know about that, but let's check and see. But what was happening is her body was sending messages, was sending warning signs, but she was misinterpreting them as the vertigo, as many of us do. Okay, we eventually pinpointed it and solved the problem. More on that later. Okay, we'll talk about that later. But if you're working in the corporate world, here's what I recommend. Notebook, keep a little pad of paper, something like that, okay? And write down what's happening to you and around you. Like, were you writing an email to a difficult client or employee? Were you preparing for a meeting with your boss? Like, what was your train of thought at that time? And do that repeatedly. Do that for a week, a solid week, every day, and then observe any patterns, okay? We all know this is patterns, okay? So much, guys, our discomfort can't be attributed to one specific source. Sorry, but not sorry. And it could just be simply a result of a career mismatch. Okay, I had another client, Jerry, and oh my gosh, he was working a grueling. And any of you guys who work in sales in general, you're like, it is grueling. Now add pharmaceutical sales to that, okay? It was grueling. He had flu-like aches, he had tense muscles, which led him to be booking regular massages, okay, which also were painful experiences. How many of y'all have done that? You're like, I need a massage, and then you're like, ow, I didn't want a massage, but I need it, and it's painful. Okay, so it wasn't a person or a project causing this, it was the job itself. But it took the process of elimination for him and I to realize that, okay? It took some time, it took some effort onto that. Okay, another part of identifying the source is running labs. I know you're like, Vanessa, I hate hearing this, but I'm telling you, from years of experience, personally and professionally, knowing where your body actually stands on the topic of stress is absolutely imperative to your future career growth. And that will impact your life. I mean, think about this. How are you going to know if you have a parasite? Because the symptoms are abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, gas, bloating, stomach pain, feeling tired. How are we going to know that if we don't run a lab to uncover that? How are you going to know if your chronic migraines are from food intolerances, hormonal imbalances, weather, or stress? What about the brain fog? Is it stress, poor sleep behaviors, thyroid issues, childhood trauma? Like, what if you go about changing jobs and you still have these issues? I know. It's the chicken and the egg issue. Is my stress being caused by my job pressures? Am I in the wrong career or job? Or is it because I have an infection or I have unresolved childhood trauma, so I'm being triggered? This is what we do. We sit here and we work through this together because it's so important. The world needs your gifts, right? It totally needs your gifts. So what else? Well, here's the thing. I've been learning more and more these days to set boundaries that serve you. Guys, I know we all do this, and I'm going to tell you right now. I used to check my email before my feet even hit the freaking ground in the morning. If I received a bad message, guess what? It set the tone for my whole entire day, and my family knew it, and all the coworkers, everything. It was a rough day. Even my workouts, it affected, okay? So I made a rule for myself, and it was a hard one, okay, to be honest. No emails before breakfast because I still had to check those work emails before I went into the office because what if I didn't? Then I'd be walking to the office and they're like, oh, did you see the email from so-and-so? And then I'm like, okay, I have to power up my computer. I got to check that, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm behind and then I look like an idiot and all the things. You know that, right? So take an inventory of the stress points that are for you, your own stress points, okay? Set boundaries that feel right. I could say don't check your emails before breakfast, but that doesn't feel right for you. Or I could say whatever it is and it doesn't feel right to you. It's got to feel right for you, okay? And here's another thing. Try removing your phone, okay, from as many points as possible, especially in your bedroom, when you're eating, things like that. Those are really important places to not use your phone, okay? I know it's hard. Sometimes we do. We're human, okay? But as much as you possibly can, because then what happens is if it's in your bedroom, for example, we've all heard this. I've said it many times too. It affects our melatonin production for the blue lights and how we sleep or don't sleep. Okay, let's be real here. All right, that's huge. All right, so how about here's another one. Why not set the boundary of saying no to work on the weekends? There was a Sabbath incorporated for a reason, guys, okay? If your boss says no to your no, then you need to start your job hunt now, okay? No one should work so much that their own health and well-being is compromised. I don't care how much you're getting paid. I don't care what bonuses you have available to you. None of that, okay? And then another thing outside of setting your boundaries is give voice to your thoughts. Okay, in my talks with clients who are experiencing significant work stress, I've noted that so many times an honest conversation with a boss or colleague can actually provide immense relief. Okay, Jen, that client who used to be really nauseous on her commute, actually pinpointed the reason for her stress. There was a leader in her department who wasn't inclined to lead. Okay, her and her coworkers, they actually grouped together and said, with respect and clarity, they brought their case to HR for why this person shouldn't really be their supervisor anymore. And HR agreed with them and made the necessary changes, including that change was putting that person in a non-managerial role. And now that client, she loves going to work and her symptoms are gone. Okay, I'm getting the chills right now. Okay. And then here's another thing. You have to ask yourself honestly, don't just say leave because you want to leave, but really, is it time to leave? If stress at work is causing you real physical pain and you feel so strongly about it that it's going to continue despite your best efforts, then be honest, it might be time to go. I've watched so many of my clients seesaw back and forth and back and forth and back and forth when it comes time to make this decision, especially when it involves the potential of walking away from a high-paying job. I encourage you to, yes, support your families and your future, right? But please, guys, don't worship money so much that it ruins you. So often I run through the simple pro and con exercise, and I challenge you guys to do this as well. Make a list of all the things that work gives you. Okay, let's say, for example, they give you a paycheck, benefits, status, okay, if those are things that are important to you and they give you. But it also gives you headaches, insomnia, panic attacks, whatever, okay? Then analyze, put like a P for the pro and a C for the con. Analyze and determine if the health cost outweighs the benefits of the job, okay? If the answer is yes, walk away, all right? Walk away. If the answer is no, then remind yourself that staying in a job is a choice. It's always a choice. No one's holding you there, right? No one is, okay? But there's power, right, despite its drawbacks, in staying in that job too, okay? Ironically, I actually had a client who had a stroke very recently, okay, this past year, and she obviously needed time off work for that, right? Her stroke was actually what allowed her to reflect on what work was doing to her, okay? The law firm let her go. It was unwanted, but it was actually, to be honest, an exceptional event. And it gave her time to examine how work actually played a role in her stroke and what kind of job she was able to sit down and think. And we sat there and brainstormed together, but what kind of job would actually help her avoid that kind of stress moving forward? So after she had her rehabilitation, all that type of stuff that she had to go through, all the labs worked through, all the stress reducers, like you name it, diet, everything, okay? She's now self-employed. She has her own law practice, and it's so fun too, right? This is the era of this, but she bakes gluten-free breads to sell around her town in her spare time. Okay? She's able to do that, and she enjoys it. So, I challenge you, don't wait to, all of a sudden have a stroke or whatever else it is before reevaluating what your job is costing you. As you get to design your career and your life, right? You co-create it with God. Own it. All right, own it. No one's holding you there. Not even God's holding you there, okay? Your career aspirations and dreams are within reach, and your physical health is the foundation upon which they can be realized. So make wellness a priority and watch as that wellness, by making that wellness a priority, it's going to transform your path to success, okay? So, guys, if we prioritize the things that we've talked about recently, the pillars of my programs and whatnots, okay, that go hand in hand with how we drive our careers forward, okay, you got to work with someone who understands your challenges, who has lived this in their life, whether it's been the health challenges, whether it's been the career challenges. I encourage you, if you both, to be honest with you, okay, For example, myself, I have worked with hundreds of people like that, because this is going to allow you, working with someone like that, to develop the competencies you need to thrive, not just survive each day, which is what so many of you guys are doing. Okay, that's my goal. We, again, as said this at the beginning of the episode, I've said this almost every episode, I say this all over online, okay? We need you to use your specific God-given skills in the workplace to better our communities, our homes, and our country, okay? You are the only person here on earth to ever walk it in the manner you did, in the environment, in this time, ever, and ever will, okay? So please, let's make sure that we put that wellness as a priority so that we can thrive. And then decide, is it the hidden stressor? Is it inside of me that's something that's been debilitating for a while, unresolved trauma that's creating all these gut issues that's now affecting my career? Or is it literally my career that's causing these health issues and causing me to not thrive? Okay? So if you're ready to advance your career by removing these hidden stressors that are keeping you stuck, go ahead and head to the show notes, get on a call with me, reach out via social media. I play around a lot on LinkedIn, okay? And stay tuned for next week when we talk about yet another hidden block in advancing in your career.